everybody, Tom Vasel here. Welcome back as I'm continuing to go through my favorite heroes, or basically I ranked all the heroes in X-Men United. Today we're taking a look at 41 to 50. Now, interestingly enough, many of the characters in this particular group are some of my favorite characters in the Marvel Universe. And that's fine. I try not to let that affect me on how much I want to use them, although if I'm playing a game, I still might use my favorite characters even if they're not as powerful. But these are pretty good, even though they're below the halfway point. Remember, I think for the most part, the heroes in X-Men United are pretty balanced. So these are all characters that I would gladly use. Let's get started. First off, we're starting with Beast First Class here. And you can see that the regular Beast I have higher than this, but that's, hey, Beast First Class, he's one of the best characters. If you've never played the game before, he might be one of the first ones I hand you because he has everything. He has movement. He has some of the best rescuing people, the heroics in the game. He has these star athlete cards, which give you a symbol and then two more symbols. Pretty straightforward. And his brilliant student, fantastic. I do find it interesting. It's like, gain one of these tokens. Why not just give him a wild? But I get that wilds can be whatever. But still, you're getting one of these tokens and a move in heroics. That's just pretty good. And that's it. I mean, no weird things, nothing. He's just a solid, great character to take. We're going to continue on this trend with another great all-around character, Cyclops First Class. And again, regular Cyclops I have higher than this. But still, he's a little less straightforward than Beast, but he has Precision Blast, which I like. It's not as, we'll get to the other Cyclops. But if you watched the earlier lists, I mentioned Havoc had a special ability, and here it is, where Cyclops does 1 damage to everything else in the location except Havoc. Because in this universe, Havoc and Cyclops can't hurt each other. So weird. This is a little bit of a dangerous card to play because you will hurt your own team with it. Well, it has heroics at the bottom. Cyclops here has a decent amount of heroics. His symbols are okay. There's nothing like super exciting about him. But again, he's just all around useful. Oddly enough, pound for pound, Marvel Girl's just better than Cyclops First Class. It's not even, you're always going to pick her first, I think, unless you want to play Cyclops. She is that same thing for adjacent locations, except that it's heroic or attacking in your or an adjacent location. And she has 4 of these. They all have a different symbol on the bottom, one of them being wild, a double attack, double heroics, move and heroics, move and attack. She's just pretty solid. It's hard to find any, she has no drawback. Cyclops has do 1 damage to everything, but also your heroes. Marvel Girl's like, I will be more careful about that and just do what I want to do. A very, very solid character. And in fact, if I was making this list again, I might move her even higher. And right above Marvel Girl is Jean Grey. So there's a couple things to talk about here. First of all, it's impressive that Jean Grey is the first person, for me, I was surprised by this, is the first person here at number 37 from the core set. So the core set is not, like usually you get core sets of games, you're like, meh, and the expansions have the good stuff. All the core set are 37 or above, so I like that. Secondly, here she is right next to Marvel Girl, and if you compare their cards, they're very similar with the stats. Jean Grey is slightly better. Jean Grey's major telekinesis, which I guess she grew up and got better at it, where she gets 2 things and you split it in your adjacent locations. That's great. Telepathies, which are both wild, let you swap the previous hero card in the storyline with any other hero card in the storyline, so she gets a wild and pretty much any 2 things she wants. Pretty solid. Although I do like Marvel Girl's abilities and that they're 4 the same thing, I think Jean Grey just kind of edges her out. Growing up brings that experience, but it's close. I wonder, can you use them in the same team? That'd be weird. But you can because it happened in the comics. And now we have another one from the core box. And the first person that was announced, like, hey, you can be a villain or a hero. And Magneto certainly personifies that in the comic books. Definitely has been on both sides about equally. So Magneto has some pretty strong strength. And he has these Magnotexnexus, whatever, throws metal at people, which is 3 hits split as you like to your and adjacent locations. Great card. It's blank at the bottom. I'm never a big fan of that, but in this case, I feel like it comes out to be even. Also, treating all symbols as wilds, That's pretty cool. Although it is weird that they gave him a wild at the bottom. So it could be cool. It just means the 2 symbols, and you should always play it after 2, are wild. And here you can use moves as wilds. And then it gives you a move here at the bottom, which I thought was weird. They didn't just give another wild here, but whatever. You play this after someone who has a bunch of moves, or at least one move, and it's still pretty cool. I like Magneto. He's an all-around, interesting bad guy, but he's also a pretty solid good guy and can do some of the best damage in the game. Sorry, Magneto, though. Namor kind of is better than that, although I'll tell you, Namor and Magneto make a great team. So Namor has great cards. Double heroics, double fight, double move, moving heroics. And then an attack plus 2 attack in any location. Oh, what a fantastic card. And then you can discard a hero or a civilian or a thug from your location and from each adjacent location. This one I don't know about. It's an interesting card, but you have to realize it says discard. You're not rescuing, you're not defeating anyone, they're just discarding. So he's great against overflows, but he's not particularly great for helping you finish missions. But if the missions are done, then he's a beast, and he's kind of a beast anyway. Man, I really like Namor. And we should also point out that he has a fantastic model. Really like his model. I think it's one of the best ones, or at least for me. I think it's really cool. We're continuing on with villains turned heroes to, oh man, she's going to look great when she's painted. Spiral. Look at all those swords. That's pretty cool. So Spiral has great action cards. The Spell Dance cards, so she has 3 of them. So when you play it, it says for each Spell Dance in a storyline, you can draw a card, gain a token, or fight against a thug or a henchman in your location. That's great. It's okay when you play it the first time. The second time, no, you get it twice, and the third time, you get it 3 times. I like that. But the teleport away gives you a token. Now, it says as long as this card's face up, when the top card of the master plan is revealed, you can immediately discard an action token to move all heroes in your location to another one. You start with this card, which is pretty fantastic, and it's just a failsafe. Now, unfortunately, it tempts you to use that wild token. But if she's there with a bunch of people, the villain comes in, does 1 damage, you can be like, nah, and you're just out of there. So that combined with her cool miniature, yeah, I like Spiral. The second of 4 Wolverines in the set, we have Logan, who almost, in a sense, feels unnecessary in this set. As long as his card's face up, he can ignore 1 damage, fine. He has great attack. There's a lot of attacks. Movement, heroics are okay. And then his fighting cards are pretty basic. It's an attack, draw a card. Not terribly shabby, not necessarily helpful to your teammates. And again, I have him on the list because if you're playing with people you don't know, you're like, here, play Logan, play him. I almost felt like putting him lower because while I like him, he's fine. He almost feels unnecessary. I feel like they threw him in the Days of Future Past set just so that, you know, that there was a hero in that set. We didn't need another Wolverine, and the other 2 Wolverines are better, but taking all that out of the equation just by himself, I feel this is where he fits, because if you give me this character to play, I'm like, yeah, I got it. Not a lot of thought into it. I'm going to go around and slash stuff, but it works. And yet another villain in this top one here who turned good, and that's Marrow. So Marrow has, in a starting hand card, she has dual hearts, like Doctor Who. And if it's face up and she's about to be KO'd, she can flip this card face down to draw a card. That's okay. I think I'd rather have the prevent 1 damage. But I do like her bone weapon. She can move and then do 2 damage in her or adjacent locations. And then bone armor is there basically, if you're about to take damage, they take a damage instead. I like that. Other than that, she has pretty good movement, heroics, and fighting. But I don't know. Maybe I just like bone armor that much. And maybe that's why she's in this spot here. She also, like I said, has a really cool miniature here, coming in with the double daggers. I always found her a bit one note in the comics, but she's a good hero. Doop, doop, doopity doop. Well, you know, when I first heard that Doop was in this set, I was like, really? Deadpool style character. But Doop is pretty powerful. Now, he has no double icon cards, but his stuff's so awesome because at the end of your turn, swap this card with any hero card in the storyline. He has 3 of those. So when he's done, he gives basically 2 icons to the next person. That's amazing. And he has 3 of these cards in the deck. Move to a location and do double wilds. Works. And as long as this card is face up in the storyline, which is in his starting hand, he gets a wild token whenever he's KO'd. Now, probably you don't want to be KO'd that often, but that's a nice extra thing. And as long as this card's face up in the storyline, if another hero does 2 or more actions in your location, they get a wild token. That's less useful, just because it's so specific. They have to be in your location and do double things. However, a couple turns in the game, it might pull off. He also is an extra wild, so he's a little wild of a character to play, but he's fun, and I like him. He's a weird character in the comics, but in this game he's a little weird too, but still lots of fun to play. Is there something to be said that reformed villains make the best heroes? I mean, if you think about it, that makes sense, because they were fighting all the X-Men by themselves, and now they're one of the X-Men, so they should make the X-Men twice as powerful. Yeah, unfortunately, that never works out that way. But this is a lot of fun. These are a lot of great characters. I like enjoying, them in the game. Like I said, I wasn't expecting to like Doop so much, but Namor, there's just some really good stuff in here. But there are 30 more coming. I'll talk about them in another video. Until then, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.